We all know if Canelo wins this fight, more than likely he's going to 160 next. He even said at the post-fight, more than likely his last fight at 154. He would have gotten Saunders whenever he comes back. So that was the obvious setup. But Saunders more than likely is kicking himself in the ass at this moment because it's the best missed opportunity right there that you got. That's the best. Your thoughts on that? Do you think Saunders is kicking himself in the ass for this?
Not really. He contradicts himself a lot, but I don't think he really cares. I think he's making enough money back home, and he's turned down so many fights for so many reasons I don't even understand. I don't think he's kicking himself. I mean, the guy he said that Triple G would end up kicking his ass
and Eubank's
ass on the same night as WBO champion. You don't say that, you know? There's a lot of weird things that he says that, honestly, I don't even think he even realizes what he's even saying half the time. So, is he kicking himself in the ass? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think he really cares.
Your thoughts on that?
I would say he is, because whenever you can get into that squared circle and you know you can win against a quality opponent in terms of the media, and you take that opportunity. Floyd Mayweather did it his last 15 fights.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If you know, like, I honestly, this is my heart of hearts. I think he sandbagged Canelo those last 4 rounds because I thought that he was going to bring him back. Because I thought he was going to bring him back later in his career when he's 25, well, he's outgrown 152. Yeah. But I thought he was going to bring him back later and be like, you know, okay, he's ready. Okay, I'm not going to take everything out this kid, but I'm going to let everybody know that I'm the proven champion. Yeah. The same thing he did, I swear, you guys, I think the same thing he did with Maidana. No parts of me believe Maidana can last in the ring before. You could throw 100 punches at Floyd Mayweather. I just don't believe that Floyd is just that special of a fighter, like a Roy Jones, like a Felix Trinidad. Like, just they're just up there. It doesn't matter who you put with them in their weight class that can beat them in their prime. And I think he sandbagged Canelo. I think he sandbagged Maidana. And so anytime you get a chance to get in the ring and you know you can win for a couple $1 million at that level, you take it. Mm-hmm. What Billy Joe Saunders get for that fight? Between $1 and $2 million?
For
an undercard, maybe $1 million max. He's a champion, so.
For the Rosado fight, it was upwards up to, like, I believe $750K to $1 million.
Oh yeah, you take that fight.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the.
With more than likely you getting Canelo next.
Yeah, but I also think he's not really 100% with himself. I don't think he's that confident, knowing that whether he can get a decision or if he can beat Canelo or not. Because look at the things that he says.
Yeah, true.
You know, now he's contradicted himself by saying that he will take any date that Triple G and his handlers, you know, present to him. So that tells me that you're just not 100% confident within your own abilities. Mm-hmm. You know, the guy again contradicts himself time and time again. So I don't know. I mean, I want to see Gennady versus Daniel Jacobs, and I know a lot of people say that his chin may fail him, but that kid has some really good speed, some good power. Yeah, he's long, 6'1". He's got that height. He's got that reach. I mean, I think he can befuddle Triple G for the first couple of rounds and give him a fight, man.
All right. Well, that is the fight, guys, right now. And as we stated, we were talking about the undercard of Canelo-Smith, and now we're about to get into the main event. What basically everybody ordered the pay-per-view for that ordered it, or everybody that went to the arena for. That was Canelo versus Liam Smith. Canelo, to me, I know a lot of people are going to say maybe Liam Smith was like a punching bag or something, this, that, and the third, but Canelo, to me, he impressed. He delivered. He basically showed why 51,240 people actually paid their entrances to watch that fight. He did everything he was supposed to do. He beat the guy soundly. There were at times where he even baited him into the ropes, tried to rope-a-dope him, but just let him swing and everything. And he just showed his stardom. He showed who he is in this boxing world. He showed the skill that he has. And even something he said in the post-fight resonates to me. He is a natural counterpuncher nowadays. He is not the guy in the early part of his career where he'd go in to knock people out. He's actually more comfortable now being a counterpuncher and at the same time going forward and attacking. I mean, he impressed. He did what he was supposed to do. And where does he go from here? Obviously, we know that there's some things going on with him, but we'll talk about that after we recap the fight. So, Fred, let me get your thoughts first on Canelo-Smith, the fight, and how it went down.
I love Canelo. I mean, like, for real, like I knew he was gonna win the fight, but his punch variations, his 100% confidence in his ability, his confidence to set traps as a counterpuncher. Like, I don't know if you guys ever sparred or anything like that, but to have confidence to set traps as a counterpuncher, knowing this guy's gonna throw 5-6 punches at me, and then I'm gonna get my shot to knock him out. Canelo is, he is that person that can demand anything in boxing right now. 51,000 people proved it. He has the biggest gate in terms of population that I haven't seen. He had 32,000, 33,000 against Kirkland. I'm just a fan. And I went to Westside Boxing Club yesterday. I'm like, damn, he might be a 55-45 favorite with Triple G. If the betting odds came out today, Monday, he would probably be the favorite because obviously the emotion and adrenaline going towards him, but momentum. Canelo looked phenomenal. I don't know if I don't know if I can say it better than what everyone else has said. He looked phenomenal, man.
He looked good against the right opponent, though.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you compare Smith and Kell Brook, Brook is an elite athlete. Mm-hmm. Smith is not. Smith is a decent boxer. Yeah. He's not a bad fighter at all because he did some things in there that he was landing. He was proving himself. Yes, the aggressor, but Canelo clearly, as he mentioned before, is a better counterpuncher. But he did what was expected. He did what he was supposed to do against a fighter like Liam Smith. If you compare the fight between Kell Brook and Gennady Golovkin versus Smith versus Canelo, Canelo obviously looked better, but to me, Gennady fought the better opposition. Even though he was a welterweight, moving up to middleweight, Kell Brook is a much special fighter, a much better fighter, a much better athlete, a much more proven boxer than Liam Smith. And I feel because of that, Canelo was able to give the fight fans what they wanted, a knockout and an impressive win. I was impressed with Canelo, no doubt about it. But to me, he did it against a guy that any special fighter like Canelo or Gennady Golovkin or Daniel Jacobs was supposed to do. He looked great, but to me, it wasn't anything where I'm going to start favoring Canelo over Triple G.
Sal, your thoughts on the fight?
If there's one thing Golden Boy could do is matchmake. I think they knew going in this fight that one, we were all going to criticize him because of the Khan fight.
Yeah.
We didn't know who he was. I didn't really know who Smith was. I heard of him, but nothing. We didn't know much about him. The fact that they knew he was going to put enough of a fight to be entertaining, I think was perfect. I think everything they did was just right. The fight, this counter punching ability, like you said, it's just a beautiful thing. It goes against everything that Mexican fighters are. So the fact that Mexico has someone like that, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's just not a go forward, jab, move your waist. It's a beautiful thing, I think. And honestly, I'm a big Triple G fan, but based on what I saw, I kind of give the edge to Canelo.
Yeah. Mm.
And I have a standing $1,000 bet.
Yeah, you do.
I have a standing $1,000 bet on Triple G. So I'm not saying this. I'm not flipping sides. I'm just saying if they were to fight next Saturday, I think the betting public would bet Canelo.
Oh yeah. The thing is, I think Canelo has a better chance now. Yeah. I still haven't changed my mind with Gennady. I think with Gennady I had it more like 70-30, but I think it's more like 60-40, maybe 55-45. I think Canelo has a very good chance of upsetting the odds. There's no doubt about it. It makes me a lot more excited, and I even want to. I wanted to see this fight a year or 2 years ago. Now I'm dying to see the fight because I think Canelo is a huge favorite in this fight. Because at least in the fight fans, they're going to have him as the favorite possibly. Because like you said, he looked amazing in his last fight, but it might be a 50-50 fight by the time it gets done.
To me, honestly, what I love about Canelo right now is the confidence that he carries.
Patience.
But the fact that he, no matter what Max Kellerman was throwing at him, he would always reiterate the fact that he believes that at this moment, he is the number one fighter in boxing right now. He is the number one. Mind you, we have Chocolatito, we have Andre Ward, Triple G, who is basically his Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather, whichever way you want to see him and everything. But Canelo's confidence that he believes he is the number one fighter in the world right now resonates to what he believes and thinks what he can do versus Triple G. He has that belief that he can win. He has that belief that he can beat him. Now the question is, and it's the question that Max asked him, are you being held back by your promoter? Is your promoter keeping you from that fight? What do you guys think about that? Do you guys believe that De La Hoya at this point, even though he said they offered an 8-figure deal for Triple G, even though they never designated what date or when that fight would be, do you guys believe that Triple G or that Canelo is actually being held back by his promoter? Sal?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why Canelo doesn't want the fight. He sees the backlash. He knows, like you said, his confidence is there. He wants the fight. It's Oscar just either doesn't want it, and I mean, I get it. It's going to be a big fight when it happens. I don't know what you guys heard, but I mean, I heard it's going to be in September and
Next year, yeah, September.
If everything goes well with the negotiations. So.
Do you believe it's going to happen?
I believe it's going to happen. I really believe it's going to happen. If, again, I really think, and again, we'll go back and talk about this, but I think the negotiations here are key.
Let me add one more thing too before we continue. You said if everything goes right. Obviously, it's already Monday, 2 days after the fight, and something's already gone wrong. Absolutely. And that's that Canelo will not be coming back in December of 2016 as scheduled due to his injured thumb and his hand being fractured and everything. Same question I posed to him, I posed to you, Fred. Do you think Oscar De La Hoya is
100%. 100%. Oscar is all about business. I mean, no doubt about it. And to say that he gave the guy an 8-figure, I equate that to, I laugh because I heard about it Monday, and I was actually in the gym when I heard it. And I laugh because it's like me telling you, Fernando, hey, Fernando, let's climb up to this 50-story building. I'll give you $75,000 if you jump off the building and survive. Okay. Like, it don't make sense. The stipulations of that contract probably was,
it goes back to Mayweather-Pacquiao once again. Arum, when he said negotiations are not done public. You know, we knew the fight was coming with Mayweather-Pacquiao, but thankfully we didn't know any of the negotiations until after everything was signed for and everything, even though they spent 4.5 years arguing. It wasn't really negotiations, it was more of an argument. Right now it's an argument between Golden Boy Oscar and K2. He says one thing, they say this is what they really did. Oh, okay, well now we're going to do this. Is there going to be a time where they're just going to like not say anything and they're just going to discuss it? Or given the time period that we're in, of social media, so many media members, so many people having windows of communication, that no matter what, something's going to leak.
It would be impossible to hold that. Like, for example, I use myself as an example. I knew I won about maybe $1,500 telling people that, betting people $100 each that Floyd Mayweather's fight Manny Pacquiao. I'm not going to tell you when I knew that fight was going to happen, but I mean, you guys know my allies. I knew that fight was coming a long time before. And people like, no, they're not fighting. I said, bet me $100. I'm serious. If that fight was coming. And so it's just impossible to hide that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. It's just no way, no how. It's impossible to hide it. You got to make the fight that night and announce it within 48 hours or 24 hours because we're going to get it.
Dom, same question to you. Do you believe Oscar is what's holding this fight back? Golden Boy Promotions, not just holding it back from Canelo.
I mean, yeah, it's they have to protect their investment. I think Oscar does believe that Canelo could be Triple G, but I think they're just trying to find the right time, still allowing him to mature and acclimate himself to 160 pounds. I mean, the kid is a big kid, so I don't even know how he's making 154. But yeah, they're protecting their investment, and I do believe the fight will get made. I just don't know if it's going to be September. I'm just not 100% on that.
I think so.
Well, what, you think we're going to wait more than September 2017? What,
Nothing
May
surprises
2018?
me. Nothing surprises me.
If that
This
fight
gets
honestly,
I mean, I think Golden Boy, they're doing their job. They're doing their job by making sure they get the fight at the right time for their fighters.
I think September is the right
times already.
Exactly.
I get waiting, and I understand waiting.
It's a business.
He's got to return to 160 pounds. He's got to ease himself in, but I think anything past that time, I mean, it's somebody's going to get it.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. And Gennadi's getting older. So I think, like I said, they're trying to find, and I think with Gennady, the way he looked against Kell Brook, they see a lot of chinks in his armor. They see a lot of holes. So I think possibly because of that, they may get the fight. But here's the thing, though. If Gennady fights Jacobs, though, it's a fight they can conceivably lose.
Yeah.
He can. And remember, Brook, when he landed that uppercut, he did hurt Gennady. Gennady says no. I saw Gennady get a little stunned.
Yeah.
And Jacobs hits a lot harder than that. So, you know what? The problem is everybody views Gennady as superhuman hero of some sort. He's a human being. He's a normal human being who just knows how to do things a little better than all of us inside the ring. But it's a fight that has to happen. I hope it happens, but Oscar is holding him back a little. Yes, because I do believe. Okay, sorry. Canelo, I honestly believe Canelo's not afraid of Gennady whatsoever.
Yeah, that's one thing I believe.
Well, I think we all agree Canelo's not afraid.
We all agree there. That
I'm trying to be as light about it as.
Now, here's my question though. You said something that's kind of pertinent here. Triple G fights Jacobs. All right, let's say that fight happens, and Canelo fights somebody. Let's say Canelo fights Kell Brook next in May of next year.
Mm-hmm.
What we're seeing is a progression when it comes to Triple G and his opponents. Do you believe Canelo's doing the exact same thing? Because both of them have to be parallel to one another. Both of them have to move at the same step at the same time to actually make that fight peak where it needs to peak.
I don't think Brook and Canelo will happen because Canelo has already made it very clear that he has to move up to 160 pounds if the fight's going to happen on September 17th or whichever date that is. Brook is not going to go up to 160 again. It's going to take him a little while to get up to that weight. He needs to fight at 154. So that fight's not going to happen. I don't think
who does Canelo fight at 160?
He's got to fight either Lemieux, which is another dangerous opponent. He could beat him, but Lemieux's got that power. Or he has to go to against a WBO champ. You know,
Curtis Stevens is there too.
But that's his sparring partner.
No,
Curtis Stevens is Canelo's sparring partner though.
Yeah, Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis Stevens is Canelo's sparring partner.
Yeah, but that fight can still happen. It doesn't matter. Golden Boy can offer him enough money to say, all right, I'll take the fight.
That's Oscar calling right now.
Stop talking about it.
You know, that's a fight that can still happen. So, more than likely, I think we'll see Canelo versus Lemieux or Curtis Stevens. That's going to be an in-house fight. And Gennady versus Jacobs, that's a dangerous, man. That's a dangerous fight.
That's a very dangerous fight.
Now that I think about it, I'm kind of scared for Triple G.
But no. They said that November 26th is Triple G's date, and it's on HBO. Does it get made?
Exactly. So it's a fight that more than likely may not happen.
Well, Dominic Wade fought on HBO.
We did fight on HBO, but obviously Heyman will allow his fighters to go.
It was another fight too.
He's right.
It was another fight too between now and then.
Why not? I mean,
what do you guys think? Does Gennady still win this fight?
I'm
a little nervous for him.
I think he beats Jacobs, but it's going to be a fun fight. Again, stylistically, they mesh well, you know?
It's a fight.
That's why. That's another reason why Triple G Canelo has to get made. Triple G is 35, 36, somewhere. I don't know, somewhere in there.
35.
30. This fight has to get made. So if one of them loses, Canelo just lost $70 million.
Exactly.
That's what we keep talking about.
70.
It has to happen.
I would cry. I would get knocked out for $70 million.
It was like when in a smaller
Oscar
scale.
did it for Pacquiao.
The smaller scale would be Juan Manuel Lopez and Gamboa.
Yeah.
Over marinated, and then Gamboa, and then Lopez gets starched by Salido. Gamboa lost a crap load of money in that fight.
I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if, the fight with Mayweather-Pacquiao happened pretty late. I was going to say, Pacquiao got starched and the fight still happened, so...
Yeah, but then it happened 3 years after he got starched.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what?
And I think it all depends how Golovkin or Canelo were to lose, but either way, the fight has to get happening for either
it has to happen because, like you said, at this point, there's no going back to shitty opponents anymore.
You can't at this point.
You can't. So, their chances of losing are a lot bigger. Like I said, Jacob's no pushover.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Canelo does fight. What's this kid that?
Stevenson.
Stevens. Or Lemieux.
Lemieux's no pushover.
No.
And Stevenson was unafraid of Triple G.
Yeah.
Unafraid of
him. Even when he took the punch, he still kept coming.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think is a better opponent, safer opponent for Canelo?
Lemieux.
Think so?
I think the other way around. I think styles make fights. So to me, Lemieux is a lot tougher and he's a lot fresher. Even though he took that beating against against Triple G, I think he looked better in his last fight, Lemieux. Stevens, on the other hand, even though he got that first round knockout against that Brazilian fighter, that prospect, I still feel like he's been in a lot more wars, you know? And he's a lot older. So stylistically, I think the fight is a lot safer for Canelo. Still not an easy fight, but I think the more difficult opponent would be David Lemieux.
I don't, considering the fact the style that Canelo carries. Obviously, we saw Triple G beat Lemieux with jabs, and then work him to the body. The way Canelo fights, his hand speed is quicker than Triple G. Throws better combinations at the moment. I honestly think he just beats him by boxing. That's it, and he breaks him down.
He beats Lemieux.
Exactly, he beats Lemieux just by breaking him out. With Stevens, it'll probably be more like a
Stevens is shorter too.
Yeah, a glorified knockout. Honestly, to me, that's what it'll probably.
He already beat Stevenson in Kirkland.
Exactly. So I'm saying it's like, why would you want to go backwards, especially considering who you fought earlier this year? Again, the whole thing with Canelo.
So who does he fight then?
I say Lemieux. He has to fight Lemieux.
Okay.
Lemieux would be a better fight. Again, you said a more dangerous fight. I think that's what the fight fans want more from Canelo, because he took the Khan fight. A lot of people never saw him losing to Khan. Nobody saw him losing to Khan. Everybody thought he was going to knock him out, and that's exactly what happened. Saw this fight versus Liam Smith, and as I stated, us here in the States didn't know much about him. So we thought Canelo would beat him. He just beat him. We need to give some doubt to the fans. We need to let the fans actually think, yo, you know what? This guy might actually be able to do something to Canelo. And Lemieux is that guy, but I honestly think Lemieux, even being the more dangerous fight out of the options we've just given, I still think he loses to Canelo.
Yeah. I favor Canelo.
Well, Oscar fought Stevie Forbes on Cinco de Mayo, so I mean, shit.
This is right before the Pacquiao.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want to waste a weekend going to see David Lemieux.
No, I would.
David Lemieux and Canelo.
I would like it here at the Staples Center. The last time he fought here at the Staples Center was what? Against Alfonso Gomez in 2012 or something?
And you know what makes shoulder roll. You know what
what
makes sense too is they talked about Canelo wanted to fight in the East Coast to maximize his popularity. So if you have David Lemieux out there, which is not too far, 3 hours away from Canada,
and he outsold
New York,
and he sold out the Madison Square Garden.
It makes sense to have Canelo fight in the East Coast for the first time. I don't believe he's ever fought out there, right?
Not that I know of, no.
At least a high-profile fight to maximize the fight against Triple G. I think that fight would actually do better against Lemieux out on the East Coast, and people will be more interested in Canelo versus Triple G, assuming that he beats Lemieux. I think it's a good fight. Now, you gotta remember, it would sell a lot more than Stevens.
Now, the setback, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, was the thumb. The whole point of that was he was supposed to fight in December, then May, and then get September back.
They said he might fight in January.
Well, if he could fight in January, look, if he could fight in January and then give us something in May, I would accept Stevens then Lemieux.
Yeah.
It would be perfect, you know, because then you're getting the 3 fights in there.
Yeah, but I just like never see Canelo fighting more than twice a year. It's just not gonna happen.
When was the last time we saw that?
Gennady will do 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, Gennady usually does do 3 or 4.
Well, he makes only $2 million a fight.
Yeah, so when was the last time we saw Canelo fight 3 times?
That's why I didn't believe about him coming back in December. Even though he did injure himself, I just didn't even see it.
This fight, at the end of the day, this Triple G fight has to get made. Triple G can get clipped. Canelo can get clipped. Like
damn, this
man, I seen Paul Smith knock out Fanfara 100-1 dog, man.
Yeah, that's true.
100-1 dog in his hometown, in his new hometown.
So I have to survive another year.
Hopefully. And that's if all goes according to plan. Like Sal said, negotiations go through and everything goes to how it's
There's
supposed
so many
to
obstacles, you know?
Exactly.
So many
and we've lived this already. We went through Mayweather Pacquiao. We saw how many obstacles happened there.
That's the biggest fight that needs to happen for boxing. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be a huge blow. A huge blow.
Let's continue with the rollback of that night, of Saturday night. And I applaud Max Kellerman for what he did, but also at the same time, I kind of hate the disrespect he threw at Oscar, who was standing there. Yeah, you gotta respect the guy. Like if you're it's like a backhanded compliment what he did. Like Oscar left Arum, and he fought everybody. Now you're hiding behind your promoter. Oh wait, your promoter's Oscar. See what I'm saying? It's like a backhanded compliment.
I didn't see it that way.
I did. I saw it that way.
I think you need to call out somebody eventually to make the fight.
I
you gotta understand Max Kellerman's relationship with HBO. They're pushing for the fight.
Yeah, they want the fight, but there's so much you can push, honestly, too. You could actually, by pushing, you could actually tell somebody to fuck off. You can tell them to fuck off because at the end of the day, look, Gennady might be on HBO and Canelo might be on HBO. But like we talked last episode, HBO's pulling out of the boxing game. What happens in that fight? You know, you guys are pulling out. All right, fuck you guys. We're going to Showtime.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That could happen. So what with him talking the way he did to Oscar and everything,
did you see it as a problem? I didn't really see it.
I was shocked, to be honest with you. But I will say this. I liked him talking to him because that's exactly what all 20 of us were thinking when we were watching the fight. When the hell is this fight going to happen?
No, but see, that's the thing. That's why I say I applaud him because he was speaking for the fans at that moment in time. He wasn't just speaking as a broadcaster asking those questions. He was actually speaking for the fans at that point because that's exactly how everybody feels. When is this fight going to happen? When are we going to get Triple G versus you? When is it going to happen? Do you feel your promoter's holding you back? He's asking the questions as a fan and as a broadcaster all at the same time. But still, the way he shaded on Oscar, it was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, but maybe he wanted his Hall of Fame Larry Merchant moment when Floyd was talking.
I got Merchant fired.
But man, it gets back to this fight. You don't understand how valuable this fight is, man. This fight has to happen. And at the end of the day, I'm going to start writing articles on Oscar De La Hoya. When is this fight going to happen? Like, I'm going to do videos on YouTube. Because it seems like he is the peg that's clogging the hole. You know what I mean? Like, when, Oscar, sit your ass down and negotiate this fight. You know, like, Mexican fans want it, black fans want it, white fans want it, Asian fans want it. We want this fight. And if you wait till Triple G is 37 and we can see the decline, we're going to see a decline in Triple G. Father Time never loses. If this happens, we never got what we deserve. As a fight fan, we deserve the best fights. You know why? Because that seat for that Triple G Canelo fight is what, $10,000?
Absolutely.
Up top is going to be $125. We deserve to see the best fights if we're going to pay these premium prices. And the pay-per-view is going to be $99. Tecate goes up $1 that weekend. Corona goes up $1 on their price. We deserve the best fight. We're doing our part as fans. 51,000 people showed up. We deserve that fight. We're supporting you, Oscar, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't make this fight happen, you are not a Hall of Fame promoter, advisor, whatever. You've let us down. You say he's done great at matchmaking.
Yeah.
If this fight doesn't happen,
you
failed us, Oscar. It's the same thing with Manny Pacquiao, Bob Arum, and Al Heyman. If that Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight did not, we can't control what happens in the ring. All we can do is put the two lions in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
If this fight get back to Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather would have been given his Hall of Fame speech, and we would have been watching on TV and said he never fought Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and same goes for Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? And Floyd wasn't a holdup. Manny Pacquiao, in my estimation, and I wouldn't say it's estimation because I have firsthand knowledge, Manny Pacquiao did not want to take the blood test. And I don't care what no one say, I'm 100% factual. Manny Pacquiao was adamant against taking the blood test. And I know in my heart, and I know from firsthand information that it didn't happen. But right now, we're clear. We're free and clear. There's no problems with steroids, all that. I think Oscar De La Hoya is holding this fight up. And we're going to get agitated.
Sal, your thoughts on Kellerman and the post-fight interview and how he basically what he said about Oscar and how everything went down.
I can see why you think it's disrespectful, but at the same time, like you said, he spoke as a fan. I think that's where he just dropped the mic and said, you know what, I'm putting on my t-shirt and hat. I'm a fan. I need this fucking fight already. I need it to happen. Max is we all know he's a huge boxing fan.
Oh yeah, it's been
reads this stuff.
Yeah, historian. So
I think it was almost like he broke down himself because he knows that Oscar's holding it back. He knows they don't want the fight yet. And it's understandable. Look how, let's just take the fight a year back. How much has Canelo progressed? Every fight he adds another wrinkle. Yeah. Gets a little better. So him fighting a Canelo from last year, Ggg from last year, Ggg would have beat him. Now in September, I don't know if it's the same. Ggg's getting a little older. Like you said, Father Time never loses. So I think it's going to be at the right time, but they're both going to be very competitive. Is Oscar holding him back? Yes, but he's also cutting loose at the right moment. If it doesn't happen in September, I just think everybody's going to be disappointed. Everybody's going to lose interest, and it just has to happen in September. Again, I thought it was a little disrespectful, but again, I get it. The frustration is there from everybody.
That makes sense. Makes sense what he said.
Okay, so September, I'll hold my thoughts, and I won't write my articles about Oscar. No, that's fair. I'll wait till September. That's fair. It makes sense.
Not September. You have to wait 2 months before that because by that time we should have already have an announcement. We should already have an announcement. So let's see, September, that'd be August. By June we should have something.
Oh. Yeah.
Ending of June going into July.
My question to all you guys: how many years do you think Golovkin has left in the tank.
I say probably prime years, probably stays in there 2 more longer than he needs to. So probably I say he fights for 4 more years.
He's gonna have to stay. If he don't get a payday, he's gonna have to stay because he's only making $1 million a fight, and he lives in Santa Monica, California. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know what his cost of living expenses are, but to live in Santa Monica,
nice endorsement deals though.
Yeah, he got some Jordan stuff, but if he's not fighting, he's don't have an endorsement.
Exactly.
You know, so this fight has to happen. And
do you believe he's still in his prime?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think happened in his last fight? Do you think it was just...
No,
look at his last fight. He fought a good fighter. I mean, let's not take anything away from Brook. Yeah. Brook's a small dude, but a solid dude.
Thank you. I wanted to hear him because this is what I've been saying all last 2 weeks.
Brook, in my opinion, was the best welterweight there is.
Because I honestly kept saying the same thing. Brook is an elite athlete. I know he's a 147-pounder, but he was a big welterweight. So really, he was kind of like a junior middleweight in some ways. And I just felt that Gennady maybe underestimated him, or he just fought a fighter who's just that good.
And I think he was sick. I think all that he was, and I really think he was sick.
You think he was sick?
Yeah, they didn't want any excuses for
I thought he was bored too. I thought he was like, damn.
Because he didn't want to fight. There's interviews where he says he's a little guy. Why would I fight this little guy? So,
but it made him good money. So.
Yeah, I like, you know how I become enamored with Triple G's ring walk. It is like the best show ever. It's like the best shit ever. He goes from Tupac to he goes to his music, and then he comes out to this Mexican music in LA. I've never seen him anywhere else. Man, he is his ring walk is the best.
Throughout the whole place, he's walking,
holding his fist up,
rocking. And I didn't.
Abel Sanchez in his tucked-in T-shirt.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't see that. He looked bored. He looked disinterested. Maybe that's a better word. He looked like he wasn't 100% lethargic, but he knew the fight was over.
He was just going through the motions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I think he just went for broke. He didn't see any really boxing skill there. He just went and tried to kill this kid and get it out, and it cost him a bit.
Round, he did that.
But again, I think it goes back to the same thing. I mean, he just wanted to go and kill this kid, get it over with, because like you said, he was bored. He didn't want that fight. That's not what Triple G stands for. That's not what he wanted. He didn't want to fight a little guy. And there's also a big loss. I mean, what if, like you said, this kid actually tagged him up? Did his Triple G stock go up? No. He fought a little guy. He beat a little guy. He was supposed to beat a little guy. Sure. As a matter of fact, we were supposed to get a dramatic knockout like Khan, yeah. So, and we didn't get that. We got a horrible stoppage. Again, I get the stoppage.
Yeah,
we didn't get that dramatic knockout that Golovkin always gives us.
The stock that went up was obviously Canelo's, and then considering this weekend again, his stock would roll.
And Brook's stock went up.
Brook's stock
went up as well.
But Brook has the option now. Do I fight Smith or do I fight Canelo?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think Canelo's going to be at 160 now. His next fight.
Yeah.
Who is at 154 for
dude, we broke down that list last
week. That's right,
J-Rock, Julian, then we have the Charlos,
Andrade.
Lara.
Yeah, but an interesting fight.
Yeah, he's got some tough fights.
I mean, how great would a Charlo brother fight versus Brook be?
Yeah.
Maybe versus J-Rock. J-Rock's always, he's ballsy.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good fighter.
Now, so Canelo right now won a WBO belt.
Who cares?
The WBO that was stripped from Andrade. Does he go up to 160 as you're saying, or does Andrade just go off the chains and off the rails and just calls out Canelo for that belt?
Andrade?
No.
Andrade, he's gonna do his best to try and get that fight, but it's not happening.
He's not gonna fight at
we're not 100% if Canelo's gonna fight Gennady in September of next year, but just to keep that fight relevant and to keep the fans interested in Canelo, he will have to move up to 160 just to give that presentation or that idea that the fight may happen. Because if he keeps fighting at 154, fight fans are going to say, well, is he ever going to fight at middleweight? Is he really going to fight Gennady? Because he says he's got to move up to 160 to get used to that weight, to acclimate himself. Is it going to happen? Yeah, exactly. So I think even just to give the fight fans the idea that the fight may happen and to keep Canelo and Triple G relevant, he's going to have to move up to 160 in his next fight. So maybe he fights Stevens in January or February and then fights Lemieux in May. I don't know. And then Triple G in September. Yeah. Hopefully that happens. Those are pretty
I like
good
the rematch clause. I would like to see Triple G and Canelo in May with a mandatory rematch clause if the fight is serviceable. and then you rematch him again because there's no more money. Triple G can retire after that.
Just make it a trilogy.
Do it. Get them 2 fights out, and if it goes 1-1, you bring it right back in May, and you do it all over again. You know what I mean? Or you put a fight in between, like HBO does. You know, you salivate us with a knockout, and then you bring them back. You know, so.
Final thoughts on the weekend on that fight on that night alone on September 17th, this past Saturday. Final thoughts on that day.
Like I said, Canelo did what he had to do. You know, he won the fight, did it impressively, got the knockout, gave the fans what they wanted, and has me interested in his future.
Fred?
I was very impressed with Canelo, very impressed with Jojo Diaz, but what I didn't like about the card was the opponent never lost a round. I mean, the opponent never won a round. I'm talking about the pay-per-view. Diego De La Hoya won 10 rounds. Jojo Diaz won 10 rounds.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. He won every round.
You see why I spoke about Canelo immediately and talk about the rest
and then Canelo basically won every round. So the opponent never lost a round. So,
I see what you're saying,
so I think that they have to do a better job at, as you say, at matchmaking to keep us entertained.
More competitive matchups.
More competitive matchups. You know what I mean?
At least on HBO.
Yeah, and at least on HBO. You're right. And but I enjoyed the night. You know, it was honestly, I haven't been to a predominantly Latino fan base in the house since Trinidad and De La Hoya. That's the last time I watched a fight with predominantly whoever's fighting, whether it's Filipinos, if I'm watching Pacquiao. I had a blast, man. It was totally fun. I didn't go to Dallas, but because the reason why I didn't go to Dallas is I hate the Cowboys. And I didn't want to go in there and say, oh, I swear to God, I'm a diehard Giants fan. And I was like, I do not want to sit in that stadium. And I didn't go cover the fight, I'm being honest.
I applaud you for that reason.
And so, but overall, Canelo impressed, Diaz impressed. Now is, do we get what we want out of Canelo, you know?
Sal, your thoughts on the weekend and the fight?
We got to see little angles that Canelo never showed. I think he got people interested on what Triple G could do versus him. They picked a bigger guy, taller at least height-wise, that kind of resembled Golovkin in a way. For that reason, how is Golovkin going to do with a guy that's slightly bigger than him? How is he going to be able to play with him? I think it was a good fight just to get people talking again, just to get, and also I think it was part of the negotiation. They said, let me pick a guy that nobody knows, and let me show you how I could put 50,000 people on their asses. I don't need Triple G. Triple G needs me. That's what I thought about the card.
But if he gets Triple G, we get 90,000.
90,000.
What about 100?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be standing room only.
Yeah, because they had an NBA All-Star game there.
You sure?
And that arena, and they sold 101,000 seats.
Right.
And mind you, the court.
That was Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl.
No, that was an NBA All-Star game.
Oh, was it?
It was an NBA All-Star game. I think it was this past year.
They didn't use the floor, right?
They didn't use the floor. So imagine how many more seats they could add there.
You think the fight's gonna happen
2,000 on the floor?
I honestly think the fight more than likely will happen in Texas.
I think it'll be in Vegas.
If they want to maximize,
they'll pay
so
for
much
it.
more.
Yeah, they want to. Well, Jerry depends on how much Jerry's going to drop.
I see it in Vegas.
You see it in Vegas?
You see it in Vegas?
I hope it's in Vegas.
I hope it's in Vegas. It would be much.
That's a drive.
There's just more money in Vegas.
And it's cheaper.
There's more money in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, Fight Guys again, recapping the weekend and weekend of fights.